part of ADC Jakarta webinar, the anti-doping webinar. So we have two speakers today. For the morning session will be Dr. Jingbing Sao from China. He is a member, he is the member of the AAA's Medical Commission who will discuss about TUE. And then for the afternoon session will be Dr. Syed Askan Hedi Beset, who will talk about the sample collection. So before we give all the whole class to Dr. Jin Pinsal, we would like to cordially invite Mr. Ria Lumintuarso as ADC Jakarta Director to give a few words. Please, Pak Ria, time's yours.
Thank you, Budia. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Dr. Jingbing So, Dr. Emita Elias, and Dr. Syed Askan Orbidisit. And good afternoon to Dr. Fumihiro Yamasawa. I think in Japan now already afternoon. So very special time now for you. And maybe we have also Mr. Yukio here. So good afternoon, Mr. Yukio, if you're already here. So first of all, on behalf of ADC Jakarta, I would like to welcome back you to this room. And before we start with the seminar, I would like to introduce a little bit about the development program in World Athletics, because not all of you already in touch with ADC for a long time. So actually, our World Athletic Development Program focus on member federation needs. So that means we help for self-help. So with this program, I hope that all the medical staff and coaches can help themselves in the federation and to spread the information to the federation. And we cooperation also with a variety of partners like sponsors and other partners like government, and also all the other sport that are concerned regarding anti-doping. So we sometimes we're working with them, and also anti-doping agent in the country. So our objective in the pandemic situation is actually to set up and run a factual athletics education system. So we need to make sure that we still running the education through these virtual seminars. And actually we also need to ensure all the athletic members like coaches, technical officials, supporting team like medical department, sports science, and administrators always in touch with knowledge and skill of athletics. That's why we try to make a special program in the pandemic starting from 2020 and now in 2021. In 2020, we have some program here, around 14 program, and sometime we working together with another federation. So this is our program in 2020. And in 2021, we start with the strength and conditioning course, 16 to 19 April 2021. Then sport medical medicine webinar, 8 to 9 May. We invite Mr. Yok Tashman and Mr. Chan Kin Yun from Malaysia. And then we concern to coaches. We have the best practice in coaching. There's Mr. Gunther talk about the middle long distance. Then Mr. Thomas talking about the throwing event. So I think by having two experts for the events, the coaches learn a lot from the situation that now they have to follow how they coach from the expert and from the champion. Then we have also international technical official seminar. We invite Mr. Kwan Ki and Mr. Vadim Nigmatov and Mr. Seki Yukio to organize the international technical official webinar. They give the title A Patient for Excellence. Then we have a youth coaches course at the time 23rd to 26th July 2021. Then we have strength and conditioning was run in Sri Lanka. Mr. Jayalal, Mr. Susanta, and Mr. Viramani was the lecturer in the time in Sri Lanka Athletic Federation. And during the Olympic Games, we have three activities in touch with coaches. This is very important because all the coaches should in touch with situation for the competition in the international level. So at the time, we invite Mr. Radhakrishnan Nair, the chief coach from India. Then we invite Mr. Emerson Obiena and family because his son is a good pole vaulter. And the last but not least, we invite Mr. Lawrence Seagrave, the coach from USA, to talk about the sprint. Then we go to the road race webinar in 24 to 26 of August. So Mr. Nori Williamson, I think some of you know him already because he's very active in the road race. Then now we organize anti-doping webinar with Mr. Fumiro Yamasawa, Dr. Emita Ilyas, Dr. Jin Bingzu, and Dr. Syed Askan Obideves. So I think now we enjoy the presentation. And after that, we will have kids athletic course in next month. This date is already updated. Miss Janet, Miss Khairina, and Mr. Ambara Susubramaniam will be the lecture. And we have other activities like technical official education system, level 2, and CECS level 2, course of our jumping event, gender leadership seminar, and CECS level 1 lecture course. So this one is all of our activities this year. Hopefully we can run all the activities because now it's become easier and easier for all the coaches or maybe from the member to join this webinar through the platform. So there's all the activities that you need to know. We still have some activities after that. So this, well, I hope that all the member of athletic in our region can learn more and more regarding the athletic knowledge. Again, welcome back to the next session for this webinar, and I give back the time to Riastuti. And thank you for the lecturer. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pak Ria Lumintuarsa. So before we give the whole room to Dr. Jing Binsel, Dr. Fumi, maybe you would like to say a few words, or we directly pass the time to Dr. Zhao. Okay. Okay then. So, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to remind you, please, if possible, please stay on your video mode because it will give color to our classroom, to our Zoom room, and also to give respect to the lecturers, to the speakers. So, Dr. Jing Binsel, time is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, everybody, and good morning, everybody. And it's my honor to give the lecture here to share some the knowledge of the TUE. I'm from National Institute of Sports Medicine of China, and my major is arthroscopic doctor. And the mainly time is to do some surgeries for the sports injuries. Even my major is not focused on the anti-doping, but I try to learn and share some knowledge of the anti-doping of the TUE. And if today, I also would like to invite Dr. Fumihara to help me to answer some questions. If you have some questions and complete of the knowledge of the TUE. Today, the topic of mine is to talk about the TUE of the anti-doping. The TUE is a therapeutic use of use exemptions. And first of all, I'd like to share some the terms of abbreviation which used in many areas in the TUE. And this lectures, the reference of these lectures is from the guidelines for the international standard for the therapeutic use exceptions. And the term, we must know some abbreviation. The TUEC means Therapeutic Use Exception Committee. What the TUE is a therapeutic use exception. What is ADO? ADO is it's anti-doping organization. So the second part is explain the organization term. What is NADO? NADO is the National Anti-Doping Organization. What is IF? IF is the International Federation. What is
Jim Bin,
Okay.
sorry. Jim Bin, that your slides are not shared. Your
What?
slide, are you doing that, presenting your slide? Sorry, are you presenting
share?
Yeah.
You haven't shared your slide, your
Okay,
presentation.
sorry. It's
Thank
okay?
you.
It's okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Okay. So that's fine, huh? Okay, what is the IF? IF is the International Federation. The MEOS is the major event organizations. The third part is the kind of the athletes, which level for the athletes. The NLA is the national level athletes. The ILA is international level athletes. RLA is a recreational level athletes. So if you know this kind of the abbreviation of the term, so it's easy to help you understand some compliance of the TUE. Okay. And what is the TUE? As is well known, the athletes may have the illness and conditions that require them to take some medications or undergo some procedures during the competition. But sometimes if you, we must focus on the health of the athletes. But sometimes when the athletes suffer this, some diseases, and they have to take some medications to follow the advices of the doctors. But sometimes they must to take some medicines, maybe that this kind of the medicines is a prohibited substance, and it's not, maybe it violates the anti-doping rules. So applications for the TUEs are is for you to make you valid to take this kind of the medicine or undergo the procedures. The applications for the TUEs are always evaluated by the panel of the physicians. That is the TUE committee. So the aim of the TUE, the main aim of the TUE is the treat available to if the athletes have some illness, and they can take some valid medicines and makes the medicines valid, even it involved in some prohibited substances. The TUE application processes provide the athletes with the opportunity to apply for the TUE when medical treatment is required, involving the use of the prohibited substance or the prohibited method. And so if we have this kind of the processes, and we can protect all clean athletes and promote their competitions on the level of the playing field, even they have some illness or even they undergo some procedures. So for the 2021 prohibited list, and it involves at all times substances and methods prohibited, as well as some the substances and the methods prohibited in competitions. And I saw the courses. Another professors introduced this kind of the content. So I just introduced this kind of the content briefly. The substances and the methods prohibited all the times, including in and out of the competition. It includes peptide hormones, growth factors, related substances, and mimetics. The second is beta-2 agonists. From the updated news, the inhaled bilateral is now permitted up to the manufacturer's maximum recommended dose. The dose expressed as the metered dose of the 25 micrograms, which is equivalent to the delivered dose of the 22 micrograms. And another is a hormone and the metabolic modulators. And another one is the diuretics and the masking agents. And for the substances and methods prohibited in competition, it includes simulants, examples of the imidazole derivatives for the topical use are added to the exceptions. These are promethazine and clonazolin, phenylaxazolin, indazolin, nafazolin, oxymetazoline, and xylmetazolin. Another one is which is very common used is the glucocorticoids. And if the athletes suffer some injuries or get some sprains, and it was used widely during the competition of the games. So be careful. The corticoids medicines will be will applied for the TUE next year, and in any injectable roles that includes any ways for the injection, such as intravenous, intramuscular, perianticular, intraanticular, peritendinous, and intratendinous, and epidural, and intrathecal, and intrabursal, and intralesional, intradermal, and subcutaneously. The executive committee decided to introduce the prohibition of all the injectable corticoid drugs and the implementation of the new rules on January 1, 2022. This 1 year period, if allow, for example, athletes and medical personnel to get better understanding of the practical implementation of the washout periods. Laboratories to update their procedures to incorporate the revised and the substances specific new reporting values, and sports authorities to develop the educational tools for athletes, medical, and support personnel addressing the safe use of the corticoids for clinical purpose in anti-doping. So the process, the next I'd like to introduce the process for the applying for the TUE. Firstly, the athletes should get the TUE application form from the relevant ADO, that is the anti-doping organization. The ADO includes, so far includes 3 levels. The first one, 3 different organizations. One is national level athletes. They should apply, they should get a TUE application form from the National Anti-Doping Organization, that is NADO. If you are international level athletes, you should get a TUE application from the International Federation and from the different international federations. If you participants some major games such as the Olympic Games, and you should get a TUE application from the major event organizer. Then the athletes, physicians should fill out their sections in the TUE application form, including some medical information and medical details and medical practitioners declaration, and the athletes should send it along with the relevant medical information to their ADO, maybe the NADO, maybe the International Federation, maybe the major event organizer. So this is the application, the process, the flow chart for the application process. The first, the physicians might give the advice for the athletes to take some medicines or give the diagnosis for the athletes with some medical condition requiring the uses of the prohibited substance or the prohibited medicines or the method or some procedures. And so the athletes must apply for the TUE to the ADO, maybe the NADA, maybe the IF, for the TUE managers and administrators. He must submit the complete application to ADO TUE committees. For the TUE committees must, which including some experts and to evaluate the conditions of this kind of the TUE, and 21 days later to render a decision to the ADO. The ADO will inform the athletes of the TUE committee decisions and record it in the ADAMS. So that is a process. And in the right part is the TUE form translated into the Chinese. And so the Chinese team physician always use this kind of forms to apply for the TUE. And from the TUE form, we could also see some of the athletes' information, including the name, gender, date of the birth, country, city, registration, representation, and some member ID, address, and the contact with and email, as well as some of the medical practitioners' information, the physician's information. You could say you must fill with the medical practitioner's certification number. It is from local number. Also fill with some medication details, including the prohibited substances and the route of the administration, dose, and the freeway, and how to use it. If you are this condition of the retroactive application, you must fill with this part, and you also fill with the previous application if you have attended before or not. So when to apply for the TUE? Generally, athletes should apply for the TUE as soon as possible. So that is the principles for the TUE. And if for substances prohibited in competition only, the athletes should apply for the TUE at least 20 days before their next competition, unless it is an emergency or exceptional situation. If athletes know they will take the prohibited substances on the long-time basis, and even if it is only prohibited in competition, they should still apply as soon as possible to the appropriate organization, anti-doping organization. So for the substances prohibited for all times, the TUE application must be submitted as soon as the medical conditions requiring the use of the prohibited substances of the method is diagnosed, or as soon as the athletes reach the competitive level requiring the advanced application for TUE. And some athletes who compete only at the national level or below may not required or even allowed to apply in advance by their national level anti-doping organization. This will depend on NADO sports prioritization program and the doping rules. These athletes will be allowed to apply the retroactive after they have provided sample when subject to the doping control. So it is also important for the athlete to first consult to their NADO to see if they fall into the this kind of the category. So there are different organizations to get the application for the TUE. The highest level is international level. So for the international level athletes, the international athletes must apply for the TUE directly to their national federations. And for the national level athletes, must apply to their NADO for a TUE. For the recreational level athletes, this is a new category of the athletes as defined in the 2021 code for athletes who do not compete at high level. So this group is defined by the relevant NADO. So the athletes from this kind of the level turns more and more, and the events of the anti-doping it turns more and more. So for the ALA or lower level, it's this kind of the process. It's how to apply the TUE. The first one is contact to the NADO of the country of the sports organization for which you compete, and if not under the NADO's jurisdiction, and contact NADO of the country in which you reside. If not under the NADO's jurisdiction, if you are competing or residing in a country that is different from your country of the citizenship. So go to the next one. If not, and another just the case. And in the event that none of the above mentioned adults have TUE justice over you on the basis of the anti-doping rules, you should to apply for the retroactive TUE from the adult anti-doping organization that result management authority. So another is when may athletes apply for the retroactive TUE. This have 1, 2, 3, 4. This have the 5 conditions. The first one, condition is the emergency or urgent treatment of the medical conditions was necessary. The second one is insufficient time, opportunity, or other exceptional circumstances that prevented submission considerations of the TUE application prior to sample collection. The third one is due to the national level polarization of the certain sports. The athletes did not permit or require the athlete to apply for the prospective TUE. The fourth one, if an adult chooses one collect sample from the athletes who is not ILA international level athletes or the national level athletes, and that athletes using a prohibited substances or the prohibited method for the therapeutic reasons, the adult must permit the athlete to apply for the retroactive TUE. The fifth one is the out of the competition use of the prohibited substances. That is only prohibited in competition. So I will give the examples for this for these 5 different conditions. The first one is the emergency or the urgent treatment of the conditions was necessary. So this is example cases. It's a kind of the emergency treatment. So they need to apply the retroactive TUE. This athlete is 28 years old, professional football. So they playing for his country in an international tournament. The tournament is held in the middle of the summer, and the temperature is extremely high. After the game, players is near collapse, and with some clinical signs of the dehydration as well as hypothermia. So they should get some emergency treatment, such as give the IV infusion, with 1,000 to the players in the dressing room. So to avoid they have some lower blood sugar. So the team summary is the team doctor may apply for the could apply for this retroactive TUE because it is emergency conditions. The second one is insufficient time or the opportunity or the other exceptional circumstances prevent submission or considerations of the TUE application. So this means some maybe we have no enough time. Maybe we have some exceptional conditions cannot cannot apply the TUE on time. This is a kind of the examples to help us to understand the role of the this kind of the retroactive. So the background is athlete is a 20 years old male sprinter, and diagnosis in child with type 1 diabetes. So the current medication is Lantus Solstar 5 unit daily, and Nova Rapid 2.5 unit before main meal and when required. But for this athletes, he won the college race and qualified for the national championships 4 days later. But before he gets this kind of the result, he just a kind of the amateur athletes. So he never compete national level. So NADA requires all the athletes competing on the national level to apply in advance for the TUE. But this athlete is always from home and does not have immediate access to medical files and is unable to prepare the TUE application prior to event. So the athlete's competence is tested and returns an AF for insulin. So for this kind of the conditions, it's a kind of exceptional events, and they suddenly get the high level quantification, and so they have to apply the TUE in no time. So this kind of the conditions can for this kind of the condition they can apply the retroactive TUE. So the third one is due to the national level prioritization of the certain sports, the athlete did not permit and requires the athlete to apply for the prospective TUE. This is a kind of the example case. And the athlete is a 20 years old female hockey player and was previously diagnosed with polycystic ovary syndrome. And the current medication is spironolactone once daily. While competing at the national champions, he's tested for this kind of medicines. And in her country, there are few ice hockey players. So it is so they cannot have this kind of organizations to apply for. So the particular NADA declared that the national level ice hockey players do not require the in advance TUE. So for this kind of the condition, the athletes may apply for the retroactive TUE. The fourth one is if an adult choose to collect the sample from the athletes who is not an international level athlete or the national level athletes, and that athlete is using a prohibited substance or prohibited method for the therapeutic reasons, the adult must permit the athletes to apply for the retroactive TUE. The case is athlete is 17 years old male shot putter, and when he was so young, at the age of 7, he was diagnosed with ADHD. And he every day to take some medications to cure to treat their ADHD. So this young athlete competed all his first national championship and return a surprising place on the podiums. So he's selected for the doping control and returns an AAF. So before this kind of the competition or he is not international level athletes or the national level athletes. So they could apply for the retroactive TUE. The last one is out of competition use of the prohibited substance is only is prohibited in competition. This situation or these conditions may be widely happened for the retroactive TUE appliance. Here are 17 years old male rugby athletes with grade 2 ACE Prince. It's a kind of the acute shoulder injuries. For the first aid treatment is just get some the physical therapy supplies, ice, and take some NSAID medications. And he stopped the training and missed 2 games. He want to play in the following games, but still have the shoulder pain. The team doctors sent him to the orthopedic surgeon. He gave the injection into the AC joint around 36 hours prior to the next game. The athletes requested the medical note from the orthopedics, which gives them the doctor to put in the record. So he used betamethasone. It was widely used for the local injection into the AC joint. So this athletes play forward subject to the doping control, returning an AF for the betamethasone. So he may apply for the TUE. Maybe next, so he need to apply for the TUE. Even the cortisone is in this time is prohibited in competition. But the next year, the situation will change. So when the team doctor helps the athletes to fill with TUE examples, so you must paying attention to fill with the forms very carefully. It is important to ensure that the physician has correctly complete all the medical informations, diagnosis, and the medications details sections in the TUE application. So the correct is the most important for the some kind of the medical staffs. And it is also important that they sign and the date the physician declaration. So the date is important as well. The TUE application will only be considered by the ADO TUE committee following the receipt of the properly completed application form, accompanied by the relevant medical information. Incomplete application will be returned to the ADO to athletes for completion and reception. So when we fill with the TUE, we must fill it completely. So that is very, very important. If you just fill with the incomplete the application, it will waste our time to get a grant of the TUE. So I don't want to the team doctors cannot get the TUE grantees just due to the incomplete application. So that will waste our time to get the valid approval. So what is the criteria for the grant of the TUE? So there are 4 criteria for the grant of the TUE. The first one is a prohibited substance or the prohibited method in question is needed to treat a diagnosed medical conditions supported by the relevant clinical evidence. So we have the exact clinical evidence to prove this kind of prohibited substance is necessary. The second one is a therapeutic use of the prohibited substance or prohibited method will not on a balance of probabilities produce any additional enhancement of the performance beyond that might be anticipated by return to athlete's normal state of the health following the treatment of medical conditions. So it have no another substitution methods. The prohibited substances and all the prohibited method is an indicated treatment for the medical conditions, and there is no reasonable permitted therapeutic alternative. So you must explain it clearly that the medicines involved the prohibited substances. So this kind of the medication or medications is you have the disease of the indication is just to take this kind of the medications, and also there are no reasonable substitution without prohibited medication substances was used in to treat your illness. So that is this kind of the conditions. The fourth one is a necessity for the use of the prohibited substance or the prohibited method is not a consequence, wholly or in part, of the prior use of the substances of the method, which was prohibited at the time of such use. So this is cases to explain how to get a grant of the TUE. The first one is a prohibited substance of the prohibited method in question is needed to treat a diagnosed medical condition supported by the relevant clinical evidence. So we have the exact clinical evidence to prove this kind of medicine is so necessary. Here is the example. The athlete is a football player who had made his under 17 national team. He has a history of inattentiveness in school and talking during class is widely happened for the young athletes. It's a consultation of his family physician suggests that they maybe have some ADHD. So the physician described some medicines. It's Adderall, stimulant medication. And this, the athlete's behavior and academic performance significantly improve following the initiation of the treatment. So they could get a treatment through this kind of medicine medications. Now he was selected for the team, the national team, and he undertook online anti-doping education and realized this kind of medication who give the treatment for the ADHD is on the list if taken in the competition. So he applied the TUE with a letter from his physician reporting his history and the effectiveness of the medications. What is a consideration for in this case? In this case, and the athletes have some sufficient medication information. Also the WADA described the information necessary to support this kind of the diagnosis of the ADHD. So for some articles such as 4.2 specialists, he had not been seen by a appropriate medical specialist and have not been subject to psychometric tests used to diagnose ADHD. The TUE checklist are specially designed for the athletes, and their treating physicians inform them to clinical details required for the TUE application. So the TUE should take the checklist to the physician who should then help arrange the necessary evaluation in order to grant it TUE. So they have some work to do to prove he will got the grant or not. So what happened after the TUE is granted? So after TUE was granted, all approved TUEs are only valid for the specific duration. So if you expire the date, and you will apply for the TUE again for another time. So the second athlete's exceptions will have an expiry date. This means that after the date of the TUE certificate, and there is no longer valid for the TUE you apply it last times. And if the athlete wishes to continue using the prohibited substances, and if you will attend the next competition and you still use this kind of the prohibited substances, as well as the TUE you applied last time is not valid, it's expired. So you will need to reapply for the new TUE. And what happens if a TUE is denied? If your TUE is denied, so that there is two reasons. The one is you could ask for the TUE committee to provide the explanation. So the first one is you should do is explaining the reasons of the denial. So if the statement is just simply shows that there is no reasonable alternative was not met, so that this kind of the explanation is not sufficient. And the TUE committee should elaborate on how it reached its decision. That is important. So you can ask for the TUE committee give you a sufficient explanation. And another TUE is denied. The reason of the TUE is denied is missing the medical information. So If the TUE is denied because of the lack of the medical test or another information required to demonstrate the certification criteria, the matter should not be referred to the relevant national appeal body, CES or WADA. Instead, the file should be complete and resubmitted to the ADO. The athlete should contact their anti-doping organization for the help and guidance. So that's why sometimes if we just get the result of the denied due to the incomplete information, so that's not economically. So if we deny how to appeal for the national level athletes, if the national level athletes wishes to appeal the NADO TUE decision, they would do so before the relevant national appeal body in their country. The NADO should guide the athletes through this kind of the process. The national level athletes cannot appeal to CES unless provided for within their NADO's rules. A national appeal body decision is final. However, WADA and the athletes international federation have the right to appeal the national level appeal body's decision to CES. The WADA may review any TUE decisions at any times on its own initiative. NLA can also request that WADA reviews the NADO TUE committee's decision. However, WADA is not required to conduct such a review. But for the international athletes, for the international level athletes, international level athletes may appeal the international federation's TUE decisions to the CES if this decision is not reviewed by WADA, or if it is reviewed by the WADA and the decision is not reversed on review. So it is important to note that in such cases, the decision being appealed by the athletes or the NADO is the International Federation's TUE decision. If WADA reviews any TUE decision and reverses it, WADA decision may be appealed to CES by athletes or relevant NADO or international federations. So that is a different level appealed to the different organization until to the CES. So this is a process for the anti-doping organization involved in. So we have a kind of the 4-level, not 4-level. It is a different level for the organizations, the NADOs and the International Federation, and the major event organizer, regional anti-doping organization. But how should the ADO anti-doping organization guide the athletes? The first one is providing the information after the TUE is denied. And second is educating on the TUE process. That is that is the athletes will have the rights from the ADO. So how should the anti-doping organizations deal with the TUE application? The first one, so we should know this kind of the process. So we know how long we could get the grant of the TUE. The first one is establishing a TUE process. So another after the TUE was applied to the anti-doping organizations. The second one is setting up the internal procedures. The third one is updating the TUE application form, and also the final process is meeting deadlines. And athletes who has not received the response regarding their TUE application within 21 days of the date of the submission of the complete application or prior to event as applicable should contact the anti-doping organization to inquire about the status of their TUE application. And the next one, we know the process of the TUE. So I'd like to introduce the TUE committees, the position, and the position, and some tasks of what they do. The composition of the TUE committees was organized by 3 physicians, where one member acts as the chairman. Members should have some knowledge of the clinical, sports, and exercises medicine. So they must have some background for the clinical, for the sports, and for the exercises medicine. So that's important. For the competition, for the MEO TUE committees, the TUE committees should appoint TUE composed of the minimum 3 physicians from amongst the MEO's TUE committee pool of the member to ensure the athletes competing the MEO's event are able to obtain TUE quickly and efficiently before and during the event. For the TUE's function, the general the general TUE procedure, the ADO TUE procedure normally operates based on the consensus and evaluating the TUE and reporting back to the ADO. That is a function for the TUE committee. And the ADAMS, what is the ADAMS? ADAMS is a web-based system designed in the strict compliance with secure to assist stakeholders and WADA in their anti-doping operations. If you are kind of the international level athletes, sometimes you should apply the TUE from the ADAMS systems, which in the WADA website. So you can find this kind of the website to apply the TUE as soon as possible. It will save your time. So the last is we have some often we have some questions or the answers. So we will simply to make it make it to all your audience. The first one is can a major event organizer grant a TUE? Yes, but this TUE are valid only for the duration of the event. A TUE granted by the NATO or internal federation is not valid for the event unless it is recognized by the MEOs. The MEOs may automatically recognize the TUE from other organizations, but the athletes should verify this on the MEU's website. Note, if the TUE is denied by the MEO, it remains valid outside of that event. What can athletes do if their TUE is denied or not recognized by the international federations? If the national level athletes wishes to appeal another TUE committee decision, they would do before the relevant national appeal body in their country. If you have this kind of such the body, if have this kind of appeal body and is in place and available, so the athletes have a right to appeal to the CS, the court. The NATO should guide the athletes through this process. At international level, athletes may request that WADA refuse the TUE application. WADA is not obliged to review all the tissues decisions, TUE decision, but may do so their discretion. Another question is, should the athletes declare medications on the doping control form? Yes, the athletes are advised to declare any medications or supplements take over past 7 days. Antibody transfusions received over the last months. Will the information on the athlete's TUE application remains confidential? The anti-doping organizations are subject to the strict confidentiality requirements with respect to the athlete's TUE information. So absolutely, they will help the athletes to keep confidential. The physicians who are members of the TUE committee and any other experts consulted must be subject to the confidentiality agreements. So they have signed some this kind of the agreements for the physicians. Physicians are also typically subject to the number of the professional obligations to protect the patient's confidentiality. So this so the confidential remaining is very, very important for the process of the TUE admission application. And what other resources on TUE are available and where to find them? So besides the NATO, besides the NATO or the International Federation, and you also can find the TUE on the website. Here are two two sites to find. The first one is the WADA website. The second one is the WADA anti-doping education and learning platform. And you also can find some information or the knowledges from the international standard for the TUE, including the international standard, the TUE guidelines, and the TUE physician guidelines, and the TUE checklists, and the code implementation support program on adult sections, and various e-learning courses and resources for the athletes and medical professionals on ADL. So just like this kind of the style. So what if the only medication to treat my medical conditions contains prohibited substances? So that's why this is, I do think this is the main aim for the TUE. So we must contact our international federation or the national anti-doping organization or apply for the TUE. So that is we just to refocus on the importance for the TUE in this kind of the answer and the question. So in summary, is we must know the process. We must know the process of the TUE clearly, so that we can apply for the TUE rightly and fill with the form completely. So that we can not waste our time to get the grant of the TUE. The second, if you have any questions or any for any puzzles in your mind, please ask for the NADO, for the National Anti-Doping Organizations. So they always have some easy contact with to help you to solve some problems around the athletes anti-doping events or anti-doping staffs. So if you have no time or you have some emergency to miss the TUE in advance, and you could, if you have the right explanation or the reasonable explanation, and you should apply the retroactive TUE that apply for the compliance as well. So you also should, because the anti-doping is always changed, so you must update your anti-doping knowledge obviously. That is what this slide is what I share, and the reference for this for this slide is from the guidelines for the international standard for the therapeutic use of use exceptions, and even I don't know exactly, but I try to learn and try to share this kind of the knowledge to all of you, and I also want to get some guidance from the Fujihara, Dr. Fujihara, because they have a very, very rich experience for the anti-doping for the most of the elite athletes. And thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jinping Sao. So now it's time for question. You may write your question on the chat box, or you may ask directly to the doctors.
Dr. Fumihara, but I have a question for you. Okay, and corticoid, could you update some the corticoid some stuffs for the TUE? Because I saw that some maybe there will have some changes for the corticoid during in different routines. So especially was told in this kind of the Tokyo Olympic Games for the many medical staffs. And can you update some news for the usage of the corticoid? Thank you.
Corticoid.
Yeah, cortisone injection.
Cortisone injection. Yeah, all the injection is prohibited in Tokyo Olympic Games.
Yeah,
including cortisone and some other stimulant, and also that some other medicine, and as noted in your slide, in the next year that all the injection of corticosteroid will be prohibited in competition, so that this year that in the Tokyo Olympic Games the same rule should be applied in the Olympic Games. Okay, so that what's the point of your question?
So I just want to some update knowledge for the usage. Okay.
Okay. Maybe that is the same knowledge as you have. Anyway, that in the September 30th or October 1st, there will be a new international standard for the prohibited for the list. And then you can understand what will be prohibited 2022 for using that injection of the steroid.
Okay.
I think that all the injection of steroid will be inhibited, so that you should apply that the TUE just before the competition or just after the competition, and or that as a recreational level athlete, they should submit the retroactive TUEs when they use the glucocorticoid injections.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, we got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sorry, Dr. Jing. Can I just add something? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, a lot of herbal people, athlete using herbal, take herbal, and then we know that many people doesn't know what is actually the containing of the herbal consists of what. Yeah, because they are not past the clinical examination yet, or laboratory process. But especially in my country, many people using the jamu, called jamu, and then maybe they put some corticosteroid there. That's why yeah, we have to be careful for the herbal or something like that in the market. Yeah, because because they put the corticosteroid in the herbal, yeah, for the good effect, yes, because you know the corticosteroid is we call that the goat medicine, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, Dr. Amita. And yes, even in different countries have the different, I think that different characteristic medicines, such as for the Chinese medicine. Chinese medicines, we cannot know the exact contents of the. We don't know if we have
Ingredient.
some. Yeah, yes. Even it's a taping, the tape, or or something else, or take into the mouth, and we don't know the medicine. We even checked the substance for the Chinese medicine, but we cannot find. So for in Chinese in China national teams, and we didn't take some we didn't advise the athletes take some Chinese medicines, including some the medicine taping on the bodies. So for your medicines, you described. I don't know, but I want to.
Yeah.
In our National Olympic Committee, we just ensure any medicines must have some exact substances was checked. So
Yeah.
that's our rules.
Yeah, same. We actually like that also. We told to the athletes not take the herbal medicine, but yeah, sometimes we don't know when they go back to their countryside, and then that something could be happen. And also the Chinese medicine from the medicine for COVID-19 from China. Did you know contain ephedrine?
I don't know for
it's very famous here, actually. It's from China.
Well, some Chinese doctors think, especially for the Chinese medicine doctors think, is the Chinese medicine is the help to improve the immune system to prevent COVID. You know, but it's not still proven.
Yeah, it's very famous here. Many people taken that, and then but that medicine contain ephedrine. And then the stimulant.
Yeah, thank you for your interesting for the Chinese medicine. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, some more question, some more comment or remarks maybe.
Yes, Dr. Jane.
Okay.
For the retroactive TUE, is how long that you can prepare that, or how long?
21 days.
Yeah, for the the late TUE. How long? That's allowed.
From the rules, I saw that 21 days before.
21
days.
But before the competition 30 days, but when when athlete code and then we have to prepare the TUE, that's 21 days before.
Yeah.
Just 21 days, but if longer than that is cannot.
Hermita, you are asking that the retroactive TUE or that just prior TUEs?
Retroactive.
Retroactive, that the timing will be decided by the anti-doping organizations. You should follow that orders.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, then. So if there is no question for this time, you may write on the chat box so we can answer on the second session because all the doctors still be here. So now we will break and then we will come back to the classroom at 2 o'clock. Yes, 2 o'clock Jakarta time. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Jin Bin Xiao, for the very good presentation and knowledge for all the coaches, especially here to update the knowledge about the TUE.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jin Bin.
Okay, so
Thank
see
you.
you again at 2 o'clock.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very much.